life, but yet they still want to earn a lot. It doesn't happen like that. When you look at anyone at the top of a company, the person who's earning the most, the reason is because they make decisions which other people can't do. They take on a huge amount of stress. So the two ways is, number one, learn to be able to handle more stress than anyone can ever handle. And number two, to be able to solve problems, bigger problems in this world. The bigger problems you solve, the more you learn. And the more stress that you can handle, the more you learn. So when it then comes to here, mindset in any business becomes 80%. That the strategy is very, very, very small. That you could Google any strategy. You can look at what an oil company uses, what Reebok uses, what Nike uses, and you can see the strategy they use. But most people will never be able to action that strategy because they haven't got the right thinking to be able to action that strategy. So the most important thing is being so resilient in your mind that no matter what hits you, you can take it. Like anything. Like you want to be the person who can say, put the most amount of stress on me because I know that's how I'm going to grow the best. Like, you know, when we say our prayer sometimes, we say, God, take our problems away. But the truth is, the prayer we should ask for is give me broader shoulders, right? Like rather, put on so much on me, but just make sure that I can handle it. Teach me how to handle it better. Because the more that I can handle, the better I can be. So the actual thing is, 80% of this is, when you look at any great athlete, every great athlete has a performance coach with them. What the performance coach is designed to do is under intense pressure for that person to be able to be calm. When it's that one penalty and the World Cup is relying on that one penalty and there's 100,000 people shouting at them, where they can stay calm and they can stay focused and they can take that shot. Or they can hit the hoop, or they can do whatever it takes. And that's why the mindset part is very, very, very important. From the thousands of people who we've coached, companies we've coached, most people go into thinking we want the right strategy. I'm like, the strategy comes later. The mindset comes first. If we can't get you to be Zen-like, and Zen-like is that no matter what hits you, you can just stay calm and cool no matter what hits you, then it's going to be very difficult for you as a CEO, for you as a business owner, for you as starting, even as you as parents, as you as person, to be able to withstand the things which go on. So it is really important right now to be able to develop that. So today, what I wanted to speak about is I wanted to speak about some tactics which I use in my business, very personal to me, which I also teach the people who I train, who I coach, and they've used this in their life. And because they've been able to do that, they've been able to create a lot of resilience. If you can take this on today, and if you really listen to me, then my hope is by the time we finish in a few minutes' time, you'll be able to be a lot more resilient in everything that you do. It's not going to happen like this, but it's like you go to the gym every day, right? You practice and you practice and you practice, and then the body builds up. It doesn't happen on day one. Same as over here. So my aim is to give you some tools. And if you use these tools every day, then you get better at them, and you'll become stronger, your mind becomes more powerful, and you start seeing things in a way which you never thought of before. Does that make sense? Everyone good with that? Can I get a loud yes so I know everyone's good with that? Yes? Can we get louder? Yes? Fantastic, brilliant. Okay, so let's go with this. We launched our business in 2018. And we grew it quite quickly until 2020. We had a turnover of about, I think, £350,000, which is about $500,000, something like that, within that first space. And I thought that everything was going really, really well. Does anyone remember what happened in March 2020? COVID, right? So most of my work, so we're based in the UK, and most of my work was in the US and in Canada. And I used to fly there a lot, I used to speak a lot, and then people used to come to the UK to come on our events. We used to help business owners to be able to grow, to be able to be really good leaders, to be able to speak, to present, and make more money. And airspace closed down, and that night, our business went from the $500,000 down to zero. We lost it all overnight, because we couldn't fly, nothing, there was nothing left. And on that day, there were a few things we could have done. My accountant said to me, he said, Mahmoud, COVID is only going to last a few weeks. Like, this never come before, it's not going to be long, just stay with your family, enjoy. And I said, no, And I said, no, I believe that there was a bigger picture in this. And I thought, hold on, if I can really, really make use of COVID, imagine where my business will be. So there were 4 mindset traits. I call them mindset tenets. Things which I believed in so much, which that day I said, I'm going to believe in whatever happens. And the first one was to know that, imagine if God had sent COVID for me. It was a present for me. Out of the whole world, everyone suffered, but it was sent for me. What could that mean? For me, what it meant is most of our business was traveling. None of it was online. I said, what if God's telling us, look, now you have to put something online. You have no choice. What if that was the answer? So we started building our performance company online. We started working with business owners around the world, but everything was online now because we couldn't travel. We couldn't go anywhere. And there were 4 mindset tenets which I drilled inside of me, which I believed in so much, and which every day, even now, when I wake up every single morning, I believe in these 4. And I really believe if you can take these 4 and you can live by them every day, your life will be different as well. Okay? So the first one was about the world. What I believe is I had to believe that the world was a great place, or the world is a great place. And now, every day, when we watch the news, social media, everything, there's really crazy things going on around the world. But if we don't believe that the world is a good place, there is no way that we will do good things in a world which isn't great. So I had to tell myself that day, the world's a great place. Every single day, the world's a beautiful place. It is, it has to. If God made it, it's a beautiful place. There are people who can do bad things in this world, and it doesn't make the world bad. The world's great. And every single day, what I truly believe is the world is a great place. And that became one of the tenets that I live by. For 10 seconds, I want you to face the person next to you and just ask them, do you believe yourself that the world is a good place or not? Because if you do, brilliant. But if you don't believe the world's a good place, why would you ever try and put more effort and more heartache into the world and really try and change things if you didn't believe this world was good? You wouldn't. So internally, you must believe the world's a good place. Take 10 seconds, talk to each other, and just ask each other, do you actually believe that the world's a good place? So take 10 seconds, talk to each other. Okay. Show of hands, raise your hands. Who here genuinely believes, and be truthful, please, because there's no it doesn't matter. I just want to find out where everyone is. How many of you actually believe, raise your hands, that the world is a really, really amazing place, right? And how many of you, raise your hands, believe, do you know what? It's not a great place. Really not. Okay, great. So, firstly, thank you for being honest. And secondly, what I want you to take away is that one of the first things which I believe so much, and which I teach a lot of the people, I teach everyone, is when we come to the 4 mindset tenets, that you have to believe the world's a great place. Otherwise, there's no way. Because to grow a business in this day and age is hard. It is tough. It is going to push you to the floor. It's going to beat you to your knees. But if you don't believe that the world's a great place, you will not go through whatever it takes. You will give up. So that was the first thing.